What's up everyone, this is Ryan with Shoe Podcast, and today we are back with another unboxing. This time it is one that I am particularly excited about. As a Louisiana-based sneaker podcast, we are always gonna root the loudest. We are gonna cheer the loudest for anything that references the boot state, and this is no exception. Today we have the second colorway of the collaboration between Claima and Saucony on the 3D Grid Hurricane. This time it is the NOLA edition. Let's get into it. What's actually funny is that my power is out today, so I'm running the lights off of a battery here. But this is the first time I'm doing one of these where I can't see the script, I can't see the top-down angle, so I'm just hoping everything looks okay. Now, if you missed the last one, we actually unboxed the first colorway here on our channel as well. I'll throw a link to that on the screen right now. In that one, I talked a lot more about the history of Claima, Bima Williams, the significance of collaborating with Saucony, so I'm not gonna get as into that on this one, but again, if you wanna see it, there will be a link to the screen right now. So starting off with the box, it comes in your classic Claima seat purple here with the logo, Claima seat, and Portland, Oregon right on the top of the box. On the front of the box, you also get Claima and Saucony right there, recycling instructions on the bottom, but let's be honest, you're not recycling this box, you're gonna keep it forever and ever, at least you should. No other details on this side or the back, and then over where the size tag is, you can see that these retail for $150. It is the 3D Grid Hurricane. The official colorway listed for this one is gold/cream. I went true to size on these, which for me is a size 11. That's based off of my experience with the first collaboration they did. I'm gonna talk more later in the video about the sizing, fit, and comfort, but off the top, I would say if you're trying to grab these, I would recommend going true to size. Enough about the box, let's go ahead and get the sneakers out here. So you can see you get just a plain brown tissue paper on the inside, which is fine. You're not wearing the box. You are keeping the box. You're not getting rid of the box, but you're not wearing the box. There's the sneakers themselves. Let's go ahead and get these out of here. Should I just yeet the box behind me? Who knows where that ended up? God, I hope I didn't damage it. Oh, I made it pretty far back there. So first impression of these, they look incredibly good in hands. Up until this point, really the only look at these that I'd got was through Bima Williams' Instagram. He posted at ComplexCon a few months ago, I think is where they first showed this new colorway coming out. But since then, it's been really quiet on the internet. In fact, as of the time of recording this unboxing, I haven't seen an official release date posted yet. One shop out of New Orleans, Foster, has done a release of these, but so far, Bima, Saucony, any other shop that might be getting these, it's been radio silent. So I'm not sure if maybe by the time this comes out, I'll have some more release details maybe in the description of the video down below. But at this time, I don't really know too much about when these are coming out. So starting off at the bottom of the shoe here, you get the mudguard and the eye stay, both in this very light brown, medium brown kind of caramel color, and that carries over to the heel here. It's a very soft suede. I believe this is that same Wolverine silky suede that Bima Williams talked so much about on the first colorway that they did here. Very soft, very premium to the touch. You can see the movement of the suede as you just gently kind of pass your finger over it, which is normally a nice test of how premium it is. I just realized this is gonna have a lot of on this part of the sneaker, on that part of the sneaker, because there's so many different materials and colors used here, but they actually all come together really nicely. But that being said, moving up through the sneaker, you then get to the toe and the tongue here, and a little bit back on this quarter panel near the heel. It's a thicker weave, it's a cream mesh, but it's really nice. It's very breathable. I think it's a single layer panel, at least in some parts here, because you can see through the shoe. The light will catch it sometimes when you're wearing it. I mean, you can't see through the shoe when you're wearing it, but like when you're holding it up, you can see the light pass through it. So very breathable, it's nice. Then right next to that cream mesh, you actually get brown mesh on the midfoot here. But the brown mesh is a more like tight knit weave, or not as open of a weave. You can't see through it as much there, but I like that they use two different types of mesh right next to each other. So in addition to the two different colors kind of complementing and contrasting each other, you also have different textures playing off one another right there. Then rounding out the midfoot of the shoe here, the last of the materials, you get this light brown kind of taupe suede that goes up, accented by this purple embroidered stitching here. And it really, like, it all comes together kind of nicely. You might think like this is a lot of color to slam together, but it's really, you know, a couple different shades of the same color palette here. That color palette being the Claima uniform colors that Bima wears in pretty much everything that he does. Going back to the tongue of the shoe here, you will see that these obviously come with two different sets of laces. These cream ones that come mostly pre-laced on them, and then purple ones that are just laced through the top two eyelets here. And the laces are complemented just like the first pair with these gold aglets with the Claima logo on top of them. What I think would have been really nice to see on these was a brown pair of laces that matched this brown right here on the midfoot. Something that, you know, still tied into the shoe, but gave a little bit of separation between the tongue and the laces that the cream won't do for you. but purple's just gonna be like a big pop of color to throw on the middle right here. I currently like how the purple is incorporated as little accent pieces in the embroidery, the Saucony logo right here on the toe, and then the sock liner on the inside. I don't think I also want it running down the tongue of the shoe with the laces. But speaking of the inside of the shoe, you can see you get that same purple satin sock liner that you got on the first colorway. That is, if you don't know, fun fact, inspired by the A Ma Maniére Jordan 3 sock liner that has that quilted satin on the inside, kind of paying homage to that. Homage? Homage? How do you say it? Potato, potato? It's gonna be hard to know in the comments like how you're saying it, but try to spell it out for me however you say it. And then lastly, on the insoles, you've got the Claima seat Saucony details, just like you do on the top of the box that it comes in. Now, something I was curious about here, there's no tongue tags on the outside of it, which is just like the first pair. Bima talked about in an interview how that was sort of a last minute decision to remove the tongue tags, which I think keeps it clean, keeps it simple, you know, through the Saucony logo on the toe right here, or the Claima logo on the back of the left shoe, you can get a nod of what this is, but if not, this is just something that's gonna like be very easy to wear with everything not screaming loud on any of the logos or anything like that, like the branding. But the tongue tag on the inside, I was curious about these, and there's a date on there that says November 23, which I'm assuming is the manufacture date. So these were, you know, manufactured, turned out, and got to shops fairly quickly. Now again, I don't know when they're releasing just yet, but I've been curious how long this has been in the works. But that also means, now that I think about it, when Bimo's wearing these at ComplexCon, I mean, granted, he probably got samples or something like that ahead of time, but they were probably like fairly hot off the presses. So it's cool to just see the turnaround on this being so quick. I know I kind of already touched on it just now, but again, on your heels, you've got Claima on the left shoe, NOLA on the right shoe, which is of course an abbreviation for New Orleans, Louisiana. 3M reflective panels on the top right there, Saucony logo debossed and embossed on the heel. And then on the soles, you've got that same purple, brown, and gold kind of carrying over there from the rest of the shoe, with a little bit of the foam midsole wrapping around on the bottom here, but obviously the brown and the purple rubber traction patterns to get you some better grip. So when I first found out that these were coming out, I think the first thing that jumps to my mind, which probably is to a lot of other people's mind, is how do these compare to the first colorway? Which, as I said, we already unboxed them, so we do have those here. We can look at them kind of side by side. So you'll see, you know, they definitely stay in that same color palette. What I really like about the NOLA, the New Orleans, you know, latest second colorway to come out here, is that it kind of gives it like all the different colors. All these browns kind of give it like a trail feel to me, like a little bit more outdoorsy, a little bit more sporty or adventurous. I think what I like about the first one is that it's fairly uniform. We have a dog. You can see dog hairs all over these. Just proof that I'm wearing them though. But you can see like it's a little bit cleaner and more subtle, I think, in the way that the color blocking specifically is done. It uses the same color palette between the two, other than, you know, this new one, I guess, does bring in some new shades of brown right here with this taupe and this darker brown, and this one really just has the gold right here. So I think this one, like the first colorway, is really good if you kind of want to dress it up a little bit more, go for something a little bit cleaner or minimal. But the second colorway is good for like if you want something a little bit more adventurous or exciting to add to your outfit. But you'll see between both colorways, they obviously share a lot of the same design elements and details. That cream colored mesh, that purple satin sock liner, the insoles, the laces with the same aglets across both of them. Really, some of the main differences, aside from obviously the color blocking here, are that on the right shoe of both pairs, which one's the right shoe? This one. So on the first colorway, you got Portland stitched in gold, and on the new one, you get NOLA stitched in purple. And then on the outsoles here, the brown and the purple are inverted. Maybe I should have cleaned these up before bringing them on the show. Wasn't really thinking about that, but yeah, the colorways are inverted there. Now, as I said at the top of the video, I'll talk a little bit more about the sizing, fit, and comfort. Again, I recommend going true to size on these. I have a relatively flat and wide foot, and for me, these are super comfortable in my true size. I have no issue wearing these all day. In fact, if it's gonna be a day where I know we're gonna be out all day walking, doing activities or stuff like that, this has been one of my go-to and grab shoes. So I think these are gonna be the exact same. If anything, I'm very much more so excited to have these because I've been wanting to wear the first colorway a lot more, but I haven't been babying them. Like, as you can see, they're dirty on the bottom, they're covered in our dog's hair. But I've been a little cautious to wear them every day, because I don't want them getting absolutely thrashed and destroyed. And you know, suede can be one of the more difficult materials to clean up. All that being said, that's why I'm so excited to have this second colorway here so that I can kind of share the wear and tear between the two of them. So final thoughts on these, I think it is a great follow-up to the first colorway, the first release that they did. Very excited to have them. I like that they went a different direction in terms of the feel, but not in terms of the colorway necessarily. You know, it uses that same palette. The color blocking is different. It's a little bit more adventurous. So if you're looking for something a little bit more fun, a little bit more sporty that you can wear, or if you're from Louisiana or New Orleans specifically, you're probably really gonna wanna pick these up. If you want something a little bit more clean and classic, maybe the first colorway suits you more. Or if you're like me, you're gonna want both of them to have and wear. As a big fan of the Claima Stories podcast, this was a no-brainer for me when I found out the first one was coming out. And then when, you know, obviously the second one was announced, on top of being a giant fan of Claima Stories, the Louisiana tie-in, again, makes this a no-brainer for me. So unfortunately, again, at this time, I have no details or news on the release of this shoe. If it happens to get announced between the time I'm shooting this and editing and uploading it, it will be in the description down below. If not, my best advice would be to check out Beema Williams or Claima on Instagram. I'll throw a link to them in the description down below. Stay tuned to them. I would assume they're gonna have some details on announcing this whenever it's ready to go for the mass rollout. So there you have it, everything you need to know about the Claima and Saucony NOLA 3D Grid Hurricane. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment down below and let me know, how do you feel about these? Do you like the original colorway more? Are you not really a Saucony person to begin with? However you feel, leave a comment. We're gonna reply to a few of them and maybe even pin our favorite. If you haven't, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It actually really helps us out. We do unboxing videos like this, live streams, interviews, weekly episodes, so if you're into sneakers, I think it's worth hitting that button. As always, this is Ryan from Shoe Podcast, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.